throughout our lives, people will come and go. They move, they get new jobs, and sometimes the people that go are us. There was a time in my life where it seemed like everyone in my life was leaving. I was a sophomore in high school, and my youth pastor was leaving. I was really involved in church. And then suddenly my D group, my Bible study leader was leaving, and her husband, the youth pastor. So my spiritual mentors were moving on with life. And then also all my friends who were seniors had just graduated, and I looked up to them so much. And then also my dad passed away. So there was just a time in my life where I felt all the influential people I knew had moved away, and I just was kind of floundering. I had no Bible study anymore that I belonged to. My best friend and I stuck together. It was a time in my life where I was supported. I had people around me, but I didn't really have anyone investing into me. I still felt like there was just so much lacking, and I was kind of lost. So one day I was at youth group, and this leader, Sarah, she just walks up to me, introduces herself, and starts just asking me questions, and she looked so young. I had no idea what she was. But little did I know how much she was going to have an impact on my life later down the road. So the girl I initially thought was so young, it turned out that she had a son and a husband, and she was determined to get involved and start a Bible study. So before I knew it, I was going over to her house with some girls, and I had never met as a Bible study in someone's house. We always met in a public place at a Starbucks. So this was kind of new for me. So we walk into her house, and it's a mess. Her husband is sick. Her dogs are running everywhere. Her kid is crying. And it was crazy. And we were like, wow, this is a little uncomfortable. But you know what? Being in someone's home like that, it showed us what it is to be real, and that you don't have to have it all together to make time for someone. She made the time and space for us in the midst of her crazy life, and she was not waiting for anything. She was just going for it. She's one of the most determined people that I know. Her character has spoken so much to me about what it means to be a godly woman. Through just entering into her life, and she always had an open door, it taught me so much about hospitality in a way that I had never experienced. I thought when people came over and just started to get to know you, your situation had to be perfect. We had to put on this face. So that was something so important throughout my high school that I learned, is that we just need to be real with each other. And I just saw her determination in everything. She met with us every week. I saw her have job transitions, deaths in the family, moving, and I saw her have 3 kids, and still, no matter how busy she got or we got, there was always an open door for us. There were 3 of us in the Bible study. So the group was small, but it was so intimate because she just created a space for vulnerability, because she was vulnerable herself and honest. So I just watched her become an amazing parent, which speaks so much. We learn from people by looking at their actions, and I saw her be an amazing parent, the most gentle and loving person I've ever seen. Her life was crazy, our lives were crazy, and she always made room for us. We could always literally walk into her door at any time, which I think is so important for the people that you love and that you want to look up to. We want them to feel welcomed, like they have a safe space anytime to come to. Sometimes we weren't always nice to her. Sarah showed unconditional love to us because we were teenagers going through breakups, jobs, moving away, and she was always there to listen to us no matter what, which was something that was just, we valued even when we didn't appreciate it. Even though this did not end at high school, 2 years later, we still hang out, and the 4 of us just depend on each other so much because we had that place and we created a community. And I'll always be grateful to Sarah for that. Recently, she just uprooted her family. She just felt God was calling them to move again and sell their house, so they're living in an RV as a family of 6. And she actually moved down to Southern California at the same time as me, so she's still in my life actively, and she just speaks so much into my life just by letting me be a part of hers. So the key thing that I took away from Sarah, my mentor, is just that to disciple people, you have to let them in, and that's sometimes the best way you can do it. We can talk to people as much as we want, but just like Jesus and the disciples, you have to walk together and live together. It's important to take young people under your wing, and just give them someone to look up to, because that's what the world needs. We need people responsible for the younger generation, willing to help shape them. And community does take time to build. Initially, it's uncomfortable and hard, but it is so rewarding later on, because we still will walk into Sarah's door and be like, I'm going through this, and she still always listens. And sometimes it's the other way around. It's kind of a mutual relationship now that we're almost in the same stage of life, but it's just cool, the friendship that has developed. And ultimately, Sarah invested in me that way that will impact me for the rest of my life. She taught me how to love people unconditionally, and just how to be patient and be there and love people well.